What is going on YouTube? It's your boy, Mr. Random, and let's do this for Paul, guys. One more ride. Here we go. Hold my hand, close your eyes, grab a shopping basket, and I'm going to take you to that magical aisle at your local Pet Boys. That's because this is part 2 of the top most popular racer mods you can do to your car. You know who you are, you're guilty of it. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. Alright guys, and for this first racer mod, I'm going to start you guys off easy, and that is with the light up windshield washer nozzle lights. Now last time I checked, it was 2018 and not 1999. There should be no reason why you have windshield washer nozzle lights in your car, period. Even back in the day when huge body kits and giant wings were the thing, many people actually considered these things to be super ricey. Not to mention super illegal. Actually, there was a local police department back where I used to live that used to give out tickets for these windshield washer nozzle lights, and that's a mouthful to pronounce, to anybody who they saw driving down the street with it. Now first they started off with anybody who had red or blue nozzle washer lights, but then they just said, you know what, let's go ahead and just kill this fad completely. And they started handing out tickets to anybody who had these things. Until this day, there's still that 1 or 2 people driving their Toyota Corollas or their Metro Geos rocking a set of these lights. Guys, let's help them out, get them off of the streets. Please, it's the right thing to do. Now for this next one, we as Americans tend to have a bad habit of getting something that happens overseas and turning it into something completely horrendous. And of course, I'm talking about the fake chrome side vents that you put on the side of your cars. Now, just like the tow hooks of the Far East down in Japan that we ended up turning into little teddy bear charms in the back of our exhaust in our Hondas, these chrome side vents on your car originated in Italy, where the supercars and sports cars would tear down the streets, and of course their side vents were fully functional. A lot of them serve the purpose of cooling the engine and or cooling the brake system, but of course we got a wind of it here in the United States, and we decided to slap them on the side of our Chrysler 300s, our Dodge Chargers, and our BMWs, knowing full well that these things are definitely not adding cool points, and they're definitely not increasing the performance of our base model Dodge Chargers. Now, like in the previous video, I am guilty of this. I am raising my hand up for this, and that is for the blacked out headlight covers. Now, I might get a pass for having them because this was in the early 2000s, late 90s, when they were just catching on and they were actually cool to have. But now, almost 20 years later, it's really hard to see anybody rocking a set of front headlight, fully blacked out taillight headlight covers and or even taillight covers. And from my experience from actually having them in my Mustang, I can tell you this: you can't see jack squat if you're driving at night. They are super impractical, not to mention they look kind of tacky, and on top of that, they're actually illegal to have. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta put on my flame retardant suit for this because I'm gonna get a lot of hate. I'm gonna get a lot of angry comments for this next one, but that is extreme camber. Now I know there are some purists out there who can agree with me that having a little bit of camber, especially if you're a hardcore track rat or if you're out there drifting, it's fully acceptable, it's fully functional, and it's perfectly fine. But that's not what's making it to a racer modification video. No, I'm talking about the fully extreme, beyond negative camber out Honda Civics and BRZs and 350Zs and Mazda Miatas and God knows what. These cars are literally bending the rules, bending the law between reality, between pure insanity, stupidity, and just plain out ricery. How could you take something that originated from the track for performance wise and turn it into something as hideous as this? Not only does it look ridiculous, but it actually affects the way your car drives. You can't go over certain bumps at certain speeds, and it completely destroys the sidewalls of your tires. It's impractical. This needs to go away. I hope to God whatever comes after this is just, I don't even know. Now this next modification is the godfather of rice. This is the holy grail of rice. I can't believe I didn't include it in my first video, but that is the OG fart can. Now, for those of you who are lucky enough to never have experienced hearing a car with a fully blown, catless, straight pipe fart can driving right past you at 50 miles an hour, even though you thought this car was doing at least 200, and then you look to your right and you see the Honda just barely keeping up with you, but it sounds so loud. That is a fart can. Essentially what you do is you grab a cheap eBay exhaust tip, you cut out your muffler, you weld that sucker to the end of the pipe, and you have yourself a performance 300 horsepower upgrading, louder than a rooster cackling at 5 in the morning on Thanksgiving Eve, freaking fart can. And we're gonna end it with one that's actually relatively new, but it's starting to get to the point where it's getting too ridiculous. And of course, I'm talking about the front windshield banners or stickers or decals or whatever you want to get. Originally, like I said, with a lot of things on this list, it starts out with something that is practical, something that was legit, and then it's turned into something that is just obstructing your vision. It looks completely ridiculous, and it's already getting overdone. It's already overstayed its welcome. Now, originally putting stickers and banners and decals on your car came from the racing pedigree. You would get sponsors and all of that, and of course you would have to show them while you're racing on the track, because they're the ones that are sponsoring and paying for your car's repairs, your team, and all of that. But when literally half of your entire front windshield is covered by a sticker that says DP Gang, now I don't know about you, but in my world, DP stands for something else, and I don't know what your gang is doing, but I sure as hell don't want to be a part of anything that has to do with being DP'd. Anyways, when your entire front windshield is covered by a giant banner, and your vision is obstructed and you keep getting pulled over for obstructed view tickets and all that, I think it's time you take the banner down, wave the white flag, and move on to something else.